This is Unfunded Garage, and today, what do we have, Shane?
We have a 1990 5.0 Mustang.
And today we're going to try to do the alternator, swap out. What is this run stock? Do you know?
The stock is a 75 amp 2G alternator. And it just doesn't have the charging output at idle that a lot of these cars need, so we're going to replace it with a bigger 200 amp PA performance alternator.
So what are you trying to do right now?
Right now I'm trying to figure out what the previous owner did to the wiring and just get a sense of what I'm looking at before we do anything else.
So right now all we've done is pull out one of the plugs here, which is this plug, and the other plug, which goes down there on the back. And so he's undoing the wiring, and like he said, to figure out how it goes.
So basically, stock, these two black and orange wires split off from the same black and orange wire. It just goes kind of like a Y shape. So what happened, for some reason, it was cut further down here and then reconnected using a wire nut. I'm not really sure why, but it's just how it is now. Right here, this is the connector.
So we gotta pull it all the way back from...
Just this shit.
Yeah, we should.
The problem is the tape is so brittle.
Oh yeah, it just wants to break as you peel it back. That's why what you do is you slice it down and then you flex it off and it snaps and it comes off in two different pieces. Look at that.
I know, there's silicone in it and then just a bunch of dirt. What I think needs to happen is this plug is gonna get taken out of this alternator. We're gonna leave it alone, but the white wire from here is gonna get cut, and then we're actually gonna
the new alternator has a slot for it.
Yeah, this wire will get rerun.
Alright, so this is the new alternator by PA Performance, and oh, Big Bertha is definitely what she is. So that white wire, I believe, according to the diagram, went right there.
The other connector that came off the old alternator, you don't have to make any changes to this. This can just stay how it is, and that's just going to go into the same type of connector on the new one. This red part here, this is where your new power feed, your new 4-gauge wire, is going to come from the starter, and that's going to clamp down right onto this guy. We unwrapped all the tape off of here, so it made it a little bit more clear what's going on. So these are the two plugs from the stock alternator. Basically what we're going to do here is we're going to leave these two 10-gauge wires alone. A lot of people say you have to come back here and cut it at the connection, but either way it's just going to be taped off. So we're just going to leave this plug alone. We went ahead and cut the small white wire that was connecting the two together. Just cut that off, tape this in, and what we're going to do here, this was going to splice into a new stator plug, but because we couldn't find a stator plug, we're just going to attach a spade connector. Instead of that fancy plug, we're just going to get this spade connector and crimp that bad boy onto here. Just tug it a little bit and make sure it's secure.
It ain't going nowhere.
You don't want it hella loose. So now that we have this spade connector on this white wire here off the regulator plug, we're just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna tape all this up because these are still gonna have power. So we're just gonna tape up this connector just to make sure nothing can get in there, and tuck it away in a nice spot.
We gotta take the tensioner off, and I'm pretty sure the tensioner is just this bolt, and then we can go ahead and get a breaker bar in here and pry it up to loosen the belt. This is just a 3/4 bolt, and we're just going to go ahead and try to break it loose. There she goes. I've already gotten the belt off, as you can see from the tensioner. It goes underneath, and but the way you do that is you get a pry bar in right here, lay it on the tensioner, down below and give it some good pressure to get it to move. And once you get it up far enough, the belt should be loose because that's what's holding the tension, and you should be able to slide the belt off with your other hand from everything around it. These are 9/16, so it'll be a 9/16 socket. Now, so this. There's one. Come on. Is this one bigger? Oh, this one's a size up. This bottom one down here is a 5/8. So, got some bamboozle. Alright, so these are all loose. I'm going to go ahead and get them spun out, and then we'll take the alternator out of here. There we go. Alternator is out. So yeah, it was just those two bolts. The one on the bottom's a little more snug because there's a little insert on it. I'll show you that. This insert right here basically makes it so the alternator stays on there nice and stiff, so you gotta work it past it. But it should come out fairly easily.
Alright, so we got the new 200 amp alternator in here, but the problem is it's much bigger than the stock 75 amp. So the bracket actually won't fit it unless you do a little bit of cutting. So as you can see, it hits that triangular part right down there. So we're just gonna mark it out where it's hitting, and then cut around so it'll fit right in.
So we got the alternator out, and you can see this black line right here going down, and then, well, left and down. So we're gonna need to remove that to allow enough clearance for this alternator to sit in there. So how we're gonna do that is with a fancy dancy cutoff tool. So this is actually air powered. So you can use die grinders, or, I mean, if you could get an angle grinder in there, a small enough disc, you could probably do it with that. But you're gonna have to remove that metal somehow, but it's not a lot of metal. But we're gonna use this cutoff. Right here, this is our grind. And I try to make it as clean as possible. I actually ended up using this guy, and could just get it in there like this and just shaved it down. I already test fitted the alternator. It does fit, but we have a little bit more wiring to do. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to something on the wiring for a second. So we had this spade connector in, and it does fit properly where it needs to go, but it's not the right connection as we said earlier. Well, Shane didn't realize we actually had the proper connection sitting in our bag. So if you don't have the proper connection, you can do something like this. It will be fine, and it'll do what it needs to do. But if you wanted it to clip in and ensure that it's not gonna come out at all, this is what you'd wanna use, and I guess we were lucky enough to have one sent with us. We are idiots, and we've been trying to use the breaker bar in here to get this to move, the tensioner to move. But it turns out you could just put, yeah, that's some bullshit.
Okay.
Alright. Okay.
Make sure it's on all the other ones.
It's on that one. Alright, just let it go. Let it slowly roll. I'm watching it. No, you just took it off. I had it all lined up. Alright, let it go. Slowly. Just start letting it down. So I guess that belt's tensioned. It's all hooked up properly. It's around everything it needs to be. The next step would be to get the wiring all plugged in and in order.
What we gotta do now is take our larger power wire and put that eyelet right over where it's supposed to go.
And bolt it down.
Bolt it down, and then we're gonna run that alongside the stock power feed, and just bring it right back over here, and it'll fit right onto
perfectly. And so that's the wire that actually goes onto this red connector. We got it tied in over here, and we ran it behind the battery. Still have it set up to go here, and took it along behind the radiator. But you have to remove these radiator supports, and they're just one 10mm bolt. Why they're 10mm on an American car, I do not know. And we tucked it underneath, and it just comes out right here. So right now, these two and this one, all three of these just plug into the back of the alternator, and we should be good to go.
We have everything hooked up now. We have the regulator plug in place with the wire going out to the stator. And we also ran our power feed, the new one, which needs to be tightened down, right above the battery.
The fuse box did fit in. He was right. Look at that.
Yep. And then it runs down here.
Guess there's only one thing to do.
Before, with the stock alternator, we were testing the battery leads and it was sitting at around what, like
12.9, no, 12.9 to 13.0.
With this new alternator, it's chilling around what, you had the meter in your hand?
It had it was 14.5 to like 14.8, 14.8. So
we tested it with my headlights on. It's good. Before, if I had my blinkers on, the battery was dying at a stop. We're not having that problem anymore. So today's a success.
All right, this is Future Us. We before we uploaded the video, we wanted to do one more thing that was recommended, and that's adding a ground wire. And where are we running that ground wire to?
Well, we're gonna run it somewhere off the engine block to be determined, and we're gonna get it back to this common ground where the battery pigtail connects. That's right here. The reason we're doing this, the factory grounds in these cars are really shitty and also pretty small. And the main one that grounds all your accessories is just this really flimsy strap you can barely see back here.
Yeah, let's see.
And a lot of the times, that's actually...
Oh yeah, you can see it just a little bit.
It's actually broken.
Yeah, there
and
it
not
is.
even there.
Yeah, that strap.
And definitely not going to be able to handle the same load as the 4-gauge, which is what is running the hot side of the alternator. So it makes sense that you should also run a 4-gauge ground.
Down here. If we take this out, put the ground in between, it's still going to be grounding on the metal arm instead of on the red piece.
Right.
It'll be sandwiched. So we could do that.
Okay.
You just hold it for me. My wire cutters actually won't cut 2-gauge. But dude, I got some California legal wire cutters right here. No, dude, we're good. We're good.
And that's good.
There's only only one reason I ever bought this vise. Uh-oh. There we go. It's all rusted out. Perfect candidate. This up a little higher.
Safety first here. We only use OSHA approved methods. Alright, that's crimped, that's good.
Alright.
Oh, that's crimped.
Just tape it up. Nope. Oh, look at that, finger loose. You don't even need anything. You don't even need a ratchet. Look at that, finger loose. Let me go set this back.
Do what? I need that.
Hold on. Put it hand tight. You're gonna wanna.
Here, just no, hold on, just chill.
I'm being assaulted.
Let the wire man handle the wires.
Yeah. You gonna start wiring up my cars for me now?
Here, just slap it through.
Oh. Just get it. If you could just get a couple threads, then you can take this. Point it slightly here. I can hold that up like that. I'll put it just a little bit. Oh yeah. We don't use ratchets. There's no need for them. Where's that ratchet?
No, I know. It's just gonna go like.
Do you want it to go over
I
that?
can just cut it here. No. I can cut it.
No. Alright, just hold it right there. Where do you want it? Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
Give your fingers some room. So you're going around the battery tray and underneath power steering.
I'm just gonna,
And
it'll just go
slap right over near.
right there. We should probably secure this somehow so it doesn't go.
I was thinking zip tie it to this.
I was thinking zip tie it to the belt.
We're gonna zip tie it right up against where the rods change sizes, like the tubing, so it holds itself up against this larger portion. And then we're gonna take it right on over here and put it in between. We've gotten it in a little bit. Can I see it? No, you can't see it. Oh, that might actually work.
I think we just need to tighten it.
Yeah, probably. Just get a ratchet on it. Alright, this is the final form of the ground wire.
It all comes out.
Down underneath the tray, underneath the power steering line, and over underneath the AC where it mounts. So, yeah. That's the extra ground line that you should add to the system. Anyway, yeah, thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we'll see you on the next one.